Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer, and right over there is John, resident Millennial. John, how are you doing this evening? John, how are you doing this evening?
Interesting that you ask. Um, I'm actually going through nicotine withdrawals as we
Are you?
speak. So yeah,
Why?
it's a lot of fun.
Why would you go through this?
So that I can not be spending a shitload of money on vape pods anymore.
You know,
Like not trying to do that stuff anymore.
just FYI, John, I don't know about you, but from what I understand, nobody likes a quitter, sir. Nobody likes a quitter.
Yeah.
Hey, I see
Well,
Wyatt lurking over
why
there
you
in the
too?
chat. Good to see you this evening, Wyatt, over on the YouTube. Please don't forget to hit that like button. We like it when you like us uh, a lot. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Like a lot.
I do. I like it a lot. So, John, how has your week been going? How's your week been going?
Um, Pretty all right. I mean, I dug a big trench in the backyard, and I've quit using a vape, so I no longer have nicotine going through my system, and my system is not happy about that at all. So,
Wait. Back up a moment.
uh,
Dug a trench in the backyard from pacing,
yeah,
or
no, actually, like literally digging a
are
trench,
you?
laying electrical wire.
Oh, I thought maybe you were putting a
No,
whoa, electrical wire. Good God.
yeah,
What are you trying to
uh,
keep out or in?
don't worry about it.
No, seriously.
Boy.
Everybody wants to know.
Everybody wants to know. Um, no, I mean just for a projector screen to be put up in the backyard.
Oh, I thought. Why did I think you said? Did you say electric fence or electric wire?
Electrical wire.
Electrical wire.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How big of a
Okay,
trench
yeah.
did you need to put down for an electrical wire, John?
Well, it was about 18 inches deep,
Wow.
the shovel width wide.
So you're making this a permanent thing.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be super permanent. Gotcha.
yeah,
I see Random Randy has shown up in the house. What's up, party people? We are the party people. We are the party people that like likes.
yes.
So make sure and hit that like button if you haven't already.
Jay Edgar joined us over on Trovo.
I
So
do see
Ed,
Jay Egger there on Trovo. We do have the chat pulled up. I'm able to see it.
yeah,
I might even maybe focus on it occasionally. But yeah, we are
both
over on Trovo trying to get something started over there.
yeah, yeah.
If you haven't logged in over there, try it out sometime. See what's going on. Give us a follow, that kind of stuff. We're not terribly familiar with it yet, but we're working our way into familiar territory with it. It's not a bad place. Mostly it's gamers, but Ed is tag teaming us. He's double teaming us. He's got four of us right in front of him. It's like that's like a fantasy. I can imagine that would be a fantasy having two of each of us there.
Oh
Whew,
yeah,
God, it gets me a little moist thinking about it.
I can't imagine his excitement.
Right? I can imagine his excitement. It's it's a little excited, but nobody complains. Um, I'm here for John and Robert. I like it. I
You know, I
like it.
like that we're parenthetical as well
Oh,
in
and
triplicate.
is triple parenthetical a good thing? I'm not up on
I think it
the
is.
hip
Yeah,
lingo text and stuff.
I think it's a very good thing.
Hey, I thought it might be a good idea, because I said I would, um, and I'm not going to get into we're not going to get into a discussion about it, but I'm just going to update um,
Yeah.
on GameStop. My $5 investment. I believe I'm losing my T-shirt, as it were. It's not. I'm not losing my full shirt, right? It was only $5, but I might be losing my T-shirt on this one. It's continued to drop. They said they were holding the line, and have been calling to hold the line and keep driving it up, but they haven't been successful. Yeah, I'm down to, well, it was up and down today, but I ended the day. I'm ending right now at $2.38 out of my
Woo!
$5.
So you've
Um,
lost more than half your investment.
yeah, but I only lost 1% today, so it kind of evened out from where it ended off yesterday.
Hmm.
They had it going on a rise today. They took it from 85 up to about 100 and a little 110, 111. I don't know, somewhere up 120 something, but then it went back down again. So, I don't, I think, I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. But I did put $5 in silver too. So, that one is actually appreciating a little bit. So that's a good thing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And Nokia. Nokia is another one of those that they've been kind of messing with a little over on Wall Street Bets. So I threw $5 in there. And surprisingly enough, $5 will get you one share of Nokia as of, yesterday, today. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying this is just stuff I've been doing. But
Right. It's
you
just
can,
your experience, what you have done, not
yeah,
necessarily what someone else should do.
sure, right. I'm just, it's
Yeah.
just me checking out what's going on with this whole Reddit thing and the Wall Street Bets, and just a teensy bits of interaction with it to see. $5 is a good sample of, let you see what's going to happen with your money. You can turn that into, imagine it as 10 times the amount and do the math, if math is your thing.
It's
The
not.
other channel is Grabbled.
Yeah. I
What's
guess so.
what does Grabbled mean?
Oh
And
my
what does he
God.
mean
You
by?
gotta, so let me tell you, Robert, you really gotta be careful when you say words that you don't know what they mean, because they could be trying to trick you into saying something that will get us kicked off of YouTube. Like,
Oh,
I don't
really?
think that
Well,
will,
I wouldn't
but
expect that Ed would do something like that.
uh,
I
well,
mean,
Ed likes
being that we're part of the
especially when
Freedom Scoop
he's
Network, you would think he would look out for us enough. I mean, is that a
he
bad
might think so.
word?
Um, Susan might think so.
I was just thinking he meant the other channel is garbled and misspelled it,
No,
but
no, he actually meant grappled.
okay. Well, I don't know what that
Yeah,
means, so I don't.
that's
Full
good.
disclaimer: I have no idea what that means, and sorry, anybody who's listening, no idea what that means. So, was it used in any context other than what the, and
What does this mean?
right?
Right.
Um, so, I'm just looking for the definition of words. Is that a bad thing? Um,
Yes,
it's
very much so.
Jesus
Unless
Christ,
it's part of Newspeak, you're not allowed to use it.
really? Because I don't know what fuck is, but I'm pretty sure it's not part of Newspeak. Unless
I'm
they're
pretty sure
quoting,
it is.
unless they're quoting somebody, and then it just comes out as asterisk 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 asterisk, right? So I was like, whatever,
Guess so,
I can
yeah.
I can say fuck, but I can't say a word. I have no idea what it means. Got it. Noted. Noted. Random Randy just joined the channel because he's cool and he's hot. Uh,
Nice. Good job, Random Randy.
I like it when people join channels that are
Yeah.
ours.
Moved over to the exclusive chat. Right. There's only
Um,
two of you over there right now.
so so there's been a thing. I don't know if I think you know a little about this, but there's been a thing going on
Yeah.
for the last couple of days that wasn't really popping off when we did our last show. Of course, we were not really doing our regular show, right? News or anything like that. But
Right.
apparently, AOC, our
Big
lovely
news of today, yeah.
Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, Ed, I believe your future ex-wife. Um, I love that. I moved over to the exclusive chat. Nice job. Um, but she did a video where she recounts the harrowing events of the January 6th Capitol riot. Um,
Mhm.
and it's causing a lot of controversy, and it's kind of pissed me off a little bit because it is oh, there's Wyatt. Now it's not. It's becoming a party on Trovo,
Becoming less and less exclusive.
but
They're just letting anybody join now.
very inclusive, which is important. You know, we
Right.
want
It's not
we
the exclusive chat anymore. It's now the inclusive chat.
true liberty is being 100% inclusive, isn't it, John?
Well, no, not necessarily.
Well, you have to, I don't know. You have to include everyone's opinions and ideas. I mean,
No.
everyone has a right to their opinion.
Yes,
Right,
that is
and they can
true.
be included in the forum in the
It
town
can
square
be.
discussion, right? So,
Right.
it's about being inclusive. It's we don't. We don't segregate anybody out, but individually you can segregate whoever you want.
Right.
Mm. Uh, but anyway, so this, as she talks about it, when she talked about it on the video, a few things came out that were troubling for people. Um, she talked about, you know, being in her office, and there was a at one point it was, banging, and at another point it was knocking on the door, and her, I guess her assistant, somebody that was there with her in the office, uh,
Told her to run and hide.
told her to run and hide. But then at another point after the fact, just FYI, she kind of says that it was because somebody came into her office that she went and
Hmm.
hid. And I'm like, but it was a Capitol Police officer. You would have recognized a Capitol Police officer and not run and hidden in your bathroom. So make sure that that's
And
straight.
not
Make sure we're
necessarily by voice, though. If you're
well,
just
well, he
someone, you
he
might
came.
not.
Well, what I'm saying is
Right.
the other part, the secondary recounting that I was saying was, that
Mm.
it was said that whoever came in the door, but there was a lot of media that was twisting what was going
Right.
on. Now, I will say that they were twisting what she said in the video, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the rub: she was in her office. She was fearing for her life because of the protest, and remember, at the time that these events kicked off with her, the
Right.
protest was happening. People were marching to the Capitol building, and at best had started breaching the barricades at the Capitol building. Now, while this was going on, police security in the area had found two pipe bombs. Okay, one at the Republican National Committee office building, the other at the Democratic National Committee building, where their offices are. And because of the one at the Republican National Committee offices by that building, they went ahead and decided to evacuate two buildings near it, which were two of the congressional office buildings, one of which is the Cannon building, in which Andrea Ocasio Cortez's office is. Now, um, you know, a lot of people were pissed off saying, "Oh, well, she wasn't even at the Capitol when all this was going on." Well, and her argument is that, well, it's all the Capitol because they're on Capitol grounds, and that there were bombs outside her building, which there weren't. They were one building behind her. There was one pipe bomb there. And they still don't know where these pipe bombs came from. They haven't found anybody to pin this on. But
Right.
they only went in to evacuate the buildings. Now nobody else has recounted that they felt like the building had been breached, this, that, and the other. But she claims that protesters were actively trying to breach the building that she was in, and so she thought that they had breached when this person comes knocking on her office door, and apparently was saying, "Where is she? Where is she?" And but then it turns out that it was a Capitol Police officer, but what he wasn't. He was very aggressive, and shit. I'm like, okay, well now, what, John? What is any police officer like in an emergency situation?
Very firm, direct, blunt, very much, all right, time to move, time for action, get up, let's go.
Right,
They're
you're
not gonna,
evacuating a building,
right,
right?
they're not just gonna stroll in, they're not gonna be like, hey, is AOC around? We gotta kind of, sorry to bother you, but we kind of gotta just get out a little bit. But they're not gonna do that, right?
Right.
They're gonna be very, get up, let's go, we're moving, getting out, move.
So it's like, okay, he's not going to come in with cuddles and smiles. Sorry,
Right.
not going to happen. You need to gird up your loins, grab your balls, and get the fuck out of the building like he's telling you to. There's a
Mhm.
reason why he's evacuating. So she goes to the building next door to hers, and she's in the and winds up in the office of Porter, Katie Porter. And while she's in there,
Ed, Jesus Christ, Ed.
under breath, God, I'm not repeating that. If you want,
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks for trying to get us off, knocked off the air.
Based and disavowed killed. Yeah.
While she's in Katie Porter's office, apparently she's freaked out. She's trying to figure out some place to hide in there because, of course, they're coming for her. A lot of this is built on the fact that they were coming for her, right?
Right.
And then she's like, lamenting the fact that that she wore heels that day, which Katie Porter winds up giving her some shoes from somebody, one of her staff members, out of her gym bag or whatever, to put on in case they have to run for their lives. Gotcha. Now, when the building was evacuated, again, the Capitol building hadn't even been breached. Now, during the entire riots, no other buildings were reported breached. No one attempted to, it doesn't appear that anybody attempted to go into any other buildings, nor did anybody really push to try and go down any further into the building, which would have attached, because she says what most people don't understand is that all these buildings are connected by underground tunnels that are, and other people are like, yes, they're very easy to navigate. So it wouldn't take much for somebody to
Yeah,
go
but
from
she's in
one
a
building
building
to
full
another.
of armed guards.
Right.
It's not like she wasn't under armed guard. Like they didn't
Right.
put her in the office by herself to to deal with everything on her own.
Now
She was
understand,
protected.
there's a lot of argument right now about how much police security was actually there, right? The National Guard had not arrived yet.
Right.
And they did say, they're claiming that the police presence there wasn't as strong as it should have been. So I don't know, maybe, but I'm sure there were some armed police officers at the building she was in. And no one was reported to have breached any tunnels under the Capitol building. So nobody went into any other buildings but the Capitol building. Now, the biggest problem I have with this is when she's doing it, one of the things that she did was she came out, she dropped a bomb on everybody. Well, I'll call it a bomb. I'll throw air quotes up. During this video, that this brought back previous trauma, because now she's been sexually assaulted. This is the first time she's coming out and saying that she's been sexually assaulted, and this triggered that trauma and that fear and those things. But she's a sexual assault survivor, right?
Right.
But it's, it sounds like if this was a trigger for it, okay, then this sounds like it would have probably been a violent sexual assault for the two to tie together. Because having your life threatened and a sexual assault, they're really different parameters. I mean, if you think, and I'm speaking from a sexual assault survivor standpoint. I mean, I've been through sexual abuse and assault. I understand it. And I'm not saying she hasn't been, but I'm like, based on your personality and your history of pandering and social justice warrioring, this is something that should have come out. We would have heard about this before now, wouldn't you think, John?
Possibly.
Some as a crutch for some issue. I don't know, but a lot of people kicked back and started talking. Well, you weren't even in the same building, and this, that, and the other. So she's come out and responded, and she said, that it is now the right trying to manipulate everything, because
it was actually the media that did it.
Sure, the media twisted some of what she said, but they can't twist. Didn't really twist the over exaggeration that I'm getting from her, how her recounting of the facts. Right.
That was kind of my point, because she's not wrong in that there are a lot of people on the right who are kind of blowing the reaction out of proportion. I'm saying, yeah, she wasn't even there, and I said it too, but I mean, yeah, so she wasn't there, but doesn't mean that she wasn't actually in fear for her life. Like, what I get why she would be. You know what I mean? Like, hindsight obviously is 2020. you know, she obviously, now knowing now that nothing happened, but at the time, I get why you would have been afraid, hiding or whatever. I get that, but she did kind of turn what turned out to be nothing into basically like a big fish story.
Right.
That's basically what it became.
And And now and it's also causing her to twist what people are saying
Mhm.
into a narrative, because she's like, now she's quantifying Republicans as abusers, exhibiting the same mentality as abusers, because they're telling people to move on and forget what we just endured. And 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 I started looking into that, and Ted Cruz is one of the people that she calls out for saying something about moving on. But here's what he said: I hope that Republicans won't participate in this petty, vindictive final attack directed at President Trump. And he said that this was at the impeachment hearing. We should just move on. Now,
Mhm.
if if impeaching Donald Trump is the absolute only band-aid that will make will take away the Capitol riot, will make it
Mhm.
better, if that's the band-aid you need, then yes, him saying we should just move on is bad. But what he was saying was, let's not waste our time trying to impeach a guy who's not even fucking president anymore just to be
Right.
petty and vindictive. Let's move
Move
on.
on to actual issues.
Okay, so thank you for twisting something out of context there.
Right.
um, and then she takes other comments. Jim Jordan says impeachment isn't healthy for the nation, and he hopes we can come together because he's concerned about where we're at. And that's bad for him to say we should come together, because though the Republicans are ultimately responsible for Trump doing what he did,
Yeah, naturally, of course.
because they
Well,
support anybody that supported him, of course, is bad. Um, and these are, that's bad to say that. Um, you know, and that's what all these people are talking about. This is what we have to move on past, is this impeachment bullshit. No, we're not going to forget what happened at the Capitol building, but she talks about the abuse, and when she does, the part that bothers me the most is that she kind of uh, it's she didn't give any facts. I told you that.
right.
She's like, these are the same tactics of abusers, and I'm a survivor of sexual assault. I'm sorry. When you start a fucking sentence with and I'm a survivor of sexual assault, that's exactly what you're. Yeah, that's all you're doing is just look at me. That's not telling me that you're a survivor of assault. That's not. No, that's a fucking serious thing. It's not a. And I'm a survivor of sexual assault. I mean, don't you know? Um, and then she says, and so whether you had a negligent or neglectful parent, and or whether you had someone who was verbally abusive to you, whether you were a survivor of abuse, whether you experienced any sort of trauma in your life, small to large, these episodes can compound on one another. Now, I'm not
That
Freud.
is factually true, but I don't think that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you said you have questions about that. I don't know. I'm not really
Well,
worried about whether or not she's telling the truth about that because there's no
well,
way to prove it
here's the
correct or
thing.
incorrect. So it's
Well,
kind of pointless.
right. No, I get that. Right. It's always going to be, is that's her take on it. But here's the problem that I have with this entire scenario. I believe wholeheartedly that her doing this video and presenting this scenario and situation,
Mhm.
creating this thing, is a preamble to something far more dangerous,
Sinister?
problematic. I I'm expecting that this is a build towards some sort of legislation, right? And if not, and not just that, but to also shore up and strengthen current legislation that's come out. And that is the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight, is HR 172.
Oh
which
shit.
which is new firearms legislation that is being proposed. Okay? Now,
Mm-hmm.
this firearm bill is it can be referred to as the Sabika Sheik Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. Now, if you're not familiar with Sabika Sheik, this was from the shooting that happened in Santa Fe, Texas, in 2018. She was a Pakistani foreign exchange student who was killed during that school shooting. Um, Now, what this bill is going to do is quite plain and simple, and it's all summed up right here. The Attorney General, through the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, shall establish a system for licensing the possession of firearms or ammunition in the United States and for the registration with the Bureau of each firearm present in the United States. This is a bill that is going to have a full-blown, every gun in the United States will be registered. Firearm registration system is going to have required information. Under the firearm, you shall transmit to the Bureau the make, model, and serial number of a firearm, the identity of the owner, the date that it was acquired, and where the firearm arm, excuse me, is or will be stored, and a notice specifying the identity of any person to whom and any period of time during which the firearm will be loaned to the person. Also, you are going to be expected to be 21 years of age, undergo a criminal background check, undergo a psychological evaluation conducted in accordance with paragraph 2, and if the evaluation does not indicate that the individual is psychologically unsuited to possess a firearm, they won't get it. Successfully completes a training course certified by the Attorney General in the use, safety, and storage of firearms that includes at least 24 hours of live fire training.
Oh
Demonstrates
my
that on
god.
issuance of the license, the individual will have in effect an insurance policy issued under subsection D. So you have to have a background check, have a license to have the gun. You have to take a firearm course, have a psychological evaluation based on their parameters of what is deemed psychologically fit. That training that you have needs to have 24 hours of training, including live firing, and you have to have insurance. And every single gun in the United States must be
There's
registered
no way
and
that's gonna pass.
known
No
about.
way that's gonna pass like that. Oh
Well, when you have a Capitol riot that was so traumatic for members of
my
Congress
god. No, I
to
understand
stand
that.
at a pulpit and weep.
When of course no one was no the only person that was shot was one of the people breaking into the Capitol. Yeah, as far as I know, it was the only person who was shot. So
So you
I don't
tell
know what that
me
has to
what.
do with guns.
Well, because it was violence. There were guns found in a truck along with Molotov cocktails. There were pipe bombs on the
That
scene.
weren't used.
Why? No, they weren't used. I get you.
Right, that weren't
But
used.
people did have weapons in the Capitol building, right? So these two things are going to be tied together, and there will be more coming
Sure.
out from the squad, I believe is how they're
Sure.
referred to now, right?
Yeah.
We are going to see more of this in the effort to get this gun legislation passed along with other legislation. I bet if you go further deeper into this, there's going to be, I don't remember if I saw anything about explosives, but I'm expecting there's going to be something more heinous repercussions for explosive devices. And on top of that, the next thing I expect is going to be something to do with social media. This is where it's also going to set the play. because she talks so much about, how people have been threatening her on social media and using social media as a vehicle
Right.
to do these things. But this firearms bill, that's very troubling. That is the alt, this they're right now at a point in time where they could potentially get this passed based off the the what's the best word for it? The vibe of the country. And I mean, what the hell? The Capitol building was stormed. It's not going to be hard to get senators and representatives on your
Yeah.
side when they were so scared, right?
Yeah. That's
Um,
pretty fucking doomy. God damn.
um, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, and I understand that, but this is like there is no gun transaction that can happen now. You can't give one as a gift without you know
The
jumping through
proper
major
paperwork.
hoops.
Yeah.
They even have very similar parameters on antique weapons, display weapons, things like this. It is essential that
They're coming after my flintlock.
every gun
My
in the
flintlock
country
pistol. They're
must be
coming
known
after
about
that.
now.
Okay.
And what's going to the other thing I expect to happen with that, if this were to pass and they were to get that registry of guns, if they were like start there, that means they have to enforce it, John. There's the key,
Right.
right?
Well, so what I imagine they would do is they caught you with the weapon that wasn't, uh, in the directory or whatever, then you get arrested. They're not gonna like come knock on your door and make sure that all your weapons are. I'm sure that's the way it's gonna be. I don't want to, try and doom and gloom and the sky's falling, Chicken Little kind of deal
Right.
with that.
I see we've got some Ron Helton in the house. Major victory. I also see Chilaga over there on Twitch. We got people
What's up,
all
Chilaga?
over on
Yeah,
the
we got all
channels.
kinds of people.
Helton says
Make sure you hit like
AOC
wherever you guys are.
AOC the moron. Helton says they took him up into their spaceship and they did things to him. Who were we talking about at the time? That
I
Ed?
don't
Maybe he
know.
means Ed.
Maybe it means Ed or AOC. I don't know. Just
Helton
referencing
says
AOC.
Ron says RC has lemon monetization again. His channel is now tagged mature tag. Oh, I'm gonna do that then.
Yeah, because I checked.
Go change our tag
Uh,
to
I
mature.
checked our. Yeah, well, yeah, I changed our. I went up to D Live and I don't see any changes on it. So, yeah, how do I do that? I'll figure it out. You can
Yeah,
keep
we'll do
going.
it. We're gonna get that fixed then. So maybe on Friday you'll be able to limit us.
I'm trying to do it right now.
Helton says, I have already forgotten about the siege of the Capitol. What a moronic joke. He says, survivor of sexual assault did her chihuahua hump her leg. uh,
That's fucked up.
Chilago says, Ocasio Ortiz's mullet was trending on Twitter.
It was
The small Ocasio Ortiz
Ocasio
Smollett.
Smollett was
Smollett.
Mollier. Yeah,
Oh,
as you say.
what was the guy's name? What was it? What was it?
Well, then Dave Chappelle did
No, what was the
Jussie
no?
Jussie Smollett.
Yeah, the one from Empire that staged
Yeah,
his own.
Jussie
Yeah,
Jussie
Jesse.
Smollett.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Jussie Smollett, but
yeah.
Jussie Smollett is what they
Gotcha.
French actor.
Uh, but yeah, this HR bill is insane, but not unexpected. Scratching my head. Yeah, it's not unexpected, but it's things like this that she's doing, and that I fully expect to start seeing some other stuff from other people, like I said, that are gonna shore this thing up with votes. It's gonna and you've got to ask yourself, do we have anybody do we have enough people in the White House that are still Second Amendment minded enough to shut this down, John? I mean, how
I
many
didn't
were?
even matter because they're trying to get rid of the filibuster as well, which means, of course, if you don't have the support to stop a bill, that was one of the ways that you could do that. But that's not going to be long for this world either.
Well, they're I don't know. I don't, they're, I'm wondering how many Republicans are going to cuck to this
I don't
because
think I don't
of
think that many.
because of
They
everything that happened with Trump and everything. I don't know.
Yeah, if you were watching, I don't know if you were watching earlier today. They had a hearing about taking off that Marjorie Green woman that the left is all pissed off about right now.
Uh,
Um, they had a hearing about her, and every time a Republican came up, they would stick to the point. It was very much like the Trump impeachment thing, where it was just very down or party lines. Where it was, Republicans were saying these things, and then Democrats were saying these things, and we're going back and forth. So I don't think you're going to find a lot of Republicans to cook on that. No, it's not like the Trump one.
Well,
It was like what,
I'm
nine
just one.
Republicans that voted to impeach Trump?
Right.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
don't think you're going to see that again
I'm just
after
wondering,
that.
how much, if there are things that they'll be able to be pressured with to where they'll, you know, swing their vote. But the other problem is, I mean, Democrats hold Washington right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna, this could very well go through very easily.
Both literally and figuratively. There's still like what, 7,000, I think, National Guard troops there. Like, yeah, they literally and politically hold it.
Uh, Hilton says she probably paid somebody to sexually assault her. She would have to pay me and wear back.
That's rude.
He says it should be a felony to introduce this illegal legislation. I agree. People defending her. It's a separate building connected by tunnels. False flag incoming. Ron Helton says Northwoods, Gulf of Tonkin, Gulf War, Blunder 1, Gulf War, Blunder 2, all false flag events. So, yeah, not believing the narrative about a siege of the Capitol.
Yes,
No,
wait, hang on.
it
Just
was more a mob.
definitionally, it was not a siege.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't
That's
even think it
definitely
was
not
so
a
much an
fucking siege.
insurrection.
No, it certainly wasn't an insurrection either. It was like people, they didn't know what they were doing. They
It
were
was
on their
right.
way
It
in
was
being
just
like, I don't know what I'm
they were
doing.
probably just like, how in the fuck did we wind up in here?
Yeah.
Let's party,
The
And
whole
then
time
people
they're like,
started
oh,
getting. Now, granted, people started getting stupid while they were in there.
once they got inside and they felt more confident that they weren't gonna like every step wasn't gonna be their last one.
Right.
Once they found that out, they're like, oh, okay, look, now we can kind of calm down and do stupid shit.
Right.
It's
Because
not an insurrection. This horse shit.
right when they
Absolutely.
first passed the barricades, I mean, there were so many. Here's what
They expected
tells you
dogs and
right.
fucking
Here's what tells you it wasn't
shields
a
to show up.
siege.
Yeah.
It wasn't a siege because people that didn't go past the barricade when they got pushed out of the way were like, "Don't do that. It's against the
Yeah.
law."
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, you know. I mean,
Right. There were
um,
no siege works built, no siege engines,
right. There
nothing
wasn't a
like
single
that.
goddamn ladder there.
No trebuchet, no ladders, no fucking
Actually,
rams.
I'm assuming some of the news channels brought ladders, so maybe they were
Oh
sieging.
yeah, they might have had. Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
they were doing the sieging.
we were planning a ladder rush.
uh, Hilton says
God.
1975 Church Committee CIA admits to planting stories in the media. They still do, of course, and so do
Of course they do. Yeah.
politicians.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I just finished watching House of Cards again, and
Oh God.
and it's very insightful into. I can imagine that this is the kind of backbiting that goes on in Washington and the stories that are put out there, because it's all very logical why they do it and what they're doing, for their own power grabs and everything, to get people out of the way, to get somebody, to put pressure on somebody. Oh well, we'll leak a story here or leak this little tidbit we found out or whatever the case may be. I mean, because the problem with people in Washington, they're not living saintly lives. They do
Yeah.
shit that's seen and talked about and can be used against them. So yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot of that conniving shit, and yeah, they drop hints to media. You think the mainstream media is not controlled by Washington? Their
I wouldn't
narrative,
say. Hang on. I wouldn't say controlled. I would say they're influenced and manipulated
sure, but they're
to put
handed.
certain
I
things
will
out. Yeah,
not.
their hands.
I
Yeah.
believe they're handed narrative often too.
Right, but I'm saying that I don't think they're controlled in that
Mm-mm.
they couldn't choose to change the narrative or to not bring something up or to,
Well, well,
whatever else. It's the people, the higher ups that tell them,
well,
they're working in cahoots.
the only argument I'll make on that is that that really depends on what kind of relationships these politicians in Washington have with the owners of these
That's
media
what I mean.
companies,
Yeah,
right?
and that's what I
And
mean. Yeah,
that is how, oh, hey, why don't you guys talk about
yeah,
this? I'm going to drop this bug in your ear and run it in some of your media sites, test it out, see what happens, watch
right.
what we
Yeah,
make
yeah.
happen.
That
Um,
happens.
so now I get it that like House of Cards is exaggerated. In fact, they went so fucking
Oh
off the
yeah,
rails after Kevin Spacey left this last sixth season they did. It went so far off the fucking rails. It was insane. It was literally. It made me imagine. It made me wonder. Is this what would happen if AOC had were in charge of the White House? Uh,
oh
but hey.
god,
Oh yeah, she replaces his wife. The wife is the president now, and she replaces her entire cabinet with nothing but women
of
because
course,
because it comes
and
out she hates men,
WOCs. Oh, of course she does.
right?
Of course she
But the,
does. Yeah,
but then she also gets pregnant, and they allude to the fact that she might be having the
an abortion
Antichrist. No,
naturally.
no, the
Oh,
Antichrist,
right.
right? She might be having the
I
Antichrist
mean, you
that
gotta
Kevin,
avoid the Antichrist, right? I
right? That
mean, how
her.
does that work?
I mean, it was like, really? You guys are going there? Fuck this. No wonder they're not going to pick it up a seventh season. They were like, we can't get this train back on the
Wait,
tracks.
it jumped
Sorry.
the shark in 6 seasons?
And no, it didn't jump the shark except in the sixth season because
Oh my god.
they had to drop Kevin Spacey out after the
Right.
fifth season. But
Right.
in his defense, it was a really shitty move by them because
Yeah.
he has every bit of litigation against him has been dropped or dismissed, gone away. There's
Yeah, but that
been
doesn't
no
matter in the court
actual.
of public.
No, no, no. He's actually starting to get work. He's going to start getting work again. He's starting to do things again. Um, but yeah, yeah, everything has been thrown out that was brought against him. Every charge, nothing. Not, some of it was just so out of the statute of limitations, it wasn't even funny.
Right.
You know, but
Because I'm
fuck.
pretty sure for a lot of things, it's only like a year of
Um,
the statute of limitations,
yeah. See, Helton says if
depending on
that
what stage it's in, I guess. Oh,
right.
go ahead.
He says if that legislation would pass, it would be bad news for all. Biden and Harris are both gun
Yeah.
grabbers, and
Yeah.
that's the part. If this passes, the what's going to happen out in the public is going to be really fucking crazy. I'm afraid. Um, I don't know. I don't know how people will respond to this because I mean this was what made it possible for Australia to get rid of all their guns because they knew where all of them were.
Right.
you know, because they had this depth of registration and knowledge about all the guns in the country.
I don't
So
know. I see it. Let's okay. So let's assume that this passes completely, becomes law as is. I still think you're going to find, even especially here in Florida, we already have them, right? Gun sanctuary cities, right? I think you're going to find a lot more of that throughout the country. Not in obviously the heavily blue areas, but in the
right,
more red area, you see a lot of gun sanctuary cities that are not going to participate and going to instruct their law enforcement officers not to participate.
right, and that is just going to be an open door for
Feds,
violent situations to happen where the feds come in to enforce federal law in those counties, those
well,
2A counties.
so that it's actually what took it took a lot of that happening for legalized marijuana to be recognized, or at least medical marijuana to be recognized um, by the federal government in states like California, especially, where what they did was obviously California legalized medical marijuana, but it wasn't legalized at the federal level. And so they still had a bunch of federal agents going in and busting dispensaries. Now that was one thing that I think Obama did well, was that he said, okay, no more doing that. We're not putting the feds because it was so unpopular. It was all over the news. And he was like, well, we're not going to put the feds in California for that anymore. And that kind of left them alone. And then it was almost as soon as that happened, like relative, right? Relative within like a year or so. Boom, like Colorado legalized, Oregon legalized,
Right.
Washington.
but
Just a domino effect after that. Once they found out, okay, we're not going to get fucked with by the feds anymore. So no, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that like the more they're sending feds in to go and stop these people from. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to put a silver lining on this.
yeah, but this is involving
Uh,
guns. I mean,
yeah,
it inherently breeds a violent situation when you come to try and take or demand registration of guns from people who are saying, no, I deny your federal authority on this. I mean, when it's all said and done, and this has been said in Washington, no matter how many states legalize marijuana, whether for medical or recreational use, the federal government still has the authority to come in and shut it the fuck down. They still have that authority because no legislation has been passed. They still haven't even got the bank situation sorted out to where these dispensaries can actually put their money in banks, right? Because
right,
they're federal. They can't put it in any federally insured bank.
right,
Um, so they still recognize that they have the power to come in and shut marijuana down.
right. Yeah, they just don't do it. It's
And
been policy for
all it would
years
take is
now.
one dictatorial minded individual in the White House to make that happen, right? But when you're talking about I mean, Ron Helton, he pointed it out. It's a bad thing. You come and try and take
Yeah,
somebody's guns, or tell them that they have to force registration on them. Man, that's not going to turn out good, especially if you're taking a stance. We're not recognizing that federal
yeah.
law in our community.
Guarantee you'll see that happen though.
Yeah, well,
Guarantee you will see
and
that happen.
that's why it's going to be some big fucking problems in the
Right.
public sector.
Mm-hmm.
Major Victory says the last time there was an actual attack on the Capitol, it was done by a Puerto Rican woman, and I think she died in prison. That was 1983. Wasn't that a bomb that went off there that didn't have anything to do? I
He's
don't.
saying later on it's Lolita LeBron would probably be ashamed of AOC, and she actually did start a shooting in the Capitol in 1954.
Mm.
I
But there
don't
was
know who that is.
the
Yeah, I've
last
never
time.
heard of that.
The last time there was a bomb scare, there was I believe it was an explosion that actually happened on the Capitol grounds near the Capitol building in 1983, I believe it was something, and I forget the details of
Possible.
it. It was a while back, but
No, don't
um,
you understand? Everything is unprecedented.
I,
Everything is unprecedented.
Ed says all this talk about insurrection makes him want to watch Star Trek Nine. No, Ed, that's a movie. Don't watch it.
Yeah,
Helen says, we are not going the route of Australia without a huge amount of bloodshed. The tyrants will lose this battle and the war.
I don't
Um,
know. I don't. I'm not so. I'm not so sure.
now,
I'm just
now,
not so sure. I think that the like what we've done in the past few months, it looks like we are. It looks like we are spotted dick limeys bowing to the crown. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing. I don't see any kind of real, standing up to anyone. I just don't see it. I don't see it coming. I don't see it talked about in the way that it would be talked about. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I see a lot of talk like that around Hilton, but I don't see any any organizing. I don't see a lot of protests on our side.
well,
You know what I mean? I don't see these things happening, and I don't see them about to happen.
well, this
Hopefully, I'm
is,
wrong. I want to be wrong. That would be nice, but I don't think I am.
but think about this, John. What's scary about this bill is how much talk in the media have you heard about it?
Oh, none.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's the worst part.
This is building to one of those laws that goes into place that nobody really paid attention to because the media didn't put it
Yeah,
out there, didn't make people aware because, of course it wouldn't be a good narrative for them, right? They don't, they would rather cover the controversy of a new bill going into place that does this, right? So
right.
don't sensationalize it in the media. Don't make it a thing.
Right, and
Um,
see that's another part of the problem, right? Is that we're not hearing about these things now because Orange Man isn't doing it, so it's not bad. So there's no need to talk about it. And So yeah, again, we don't have. There's nothing on the right that's kind of like bringing people together anymore. Like that was kind of Trump, right? Trump would be talking about these things, forcing the media to talk about them, whereas now they don't have that. So that he's kind of like the nucleus that brought
Right.
the right together and focused on an issue. And now we don't have that anymore.
Let me ask you something. How long do you think this has been in the House? They've introduced it in the House. How long do you
Yeah.
think it's been there?
Well, I've heard talk about it. I think the last year at some point.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah, I think it was earlier or mid last year or
no,
something
no,
like
no, no.
that.
This was introduced into the House on January
Hmm.
4th.
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
Because I know
We introduced it
I
how
remember.
talked about is one thing, but introduced
Yeah, 'cause I've
like
heard it
actually
talked
putting
about
the bill
before.
forward. But it's been in the House for a month
Something
now.
similar.
It's been put before the House for a month now, and this is how much this is the extent of the talk we've heard about it over the last month. This is very striking. This is something that we need to think about with this. This is something that needs to be talked about. That there because I just really feel like there's going to be a lot of people that don't realize this is happening. I mean,
Yeah.
I've only been found out about it in the last week or so, right? So after it was in the House for 3 weeks, so they haven't even voted on it. But isn't it interesting that it was introduced 2 days before the Capitol riot? I'm sure we could build a conspiracy around that as well, because of
Yeah.
course
See, I don't like connecting things like that.
there is the
Yeah, that's.
conspiracy that the Dems staged this.
I know. I don't think that's true. I'm sorry. There's
I'm just putting it out
way too many people would have to be involved in that conspiracy for it to work.
there. I thought
Like
it.
way too many people.
I did find it was find something funny. I saw on Twitter somebody was kind of they're like Antifa did this and Antifa did that and everything, and somebody replied with, uh, "How did you know it was Antifa? They were wearing name badges, or what was it that let you know they were Antifa?" And then
Well,
posts a
there were
ton
a
of
couple that
headline.
were.
Well, then they posted a ton
Yeah.
of headlines that were showing like no, no, different authority groups had found no evidence of Antifa breaching the cow. Anybody involved in Antifa being part of the people that were in and this that and the other, and then saying that they're spinning the narrative to so that it doesn't look like it was Antifa. I'm like, all
Well,
right.
we do know of at least two. Were at least two, because they were named. They were on CNN shortly before the riot happened. They were inside and they were like celebrating. They're like, "Oh yeah, we fucking did it!" Right? That's what most people were saying. This is how we know it was Antifa who planned it or whatever. I don't think that's true. I think they were there. And they were just like, "Oh shit, we made it inside." I think that's what they were saying, but
I
there
mean,
were at least two members, people not members of Antifa, right? Because it's like anonymous, right? You don't join it, you just are, right? But two people who identify with Antifa were there. There were at least two there,
right.
but I don't think that
Well,
means we planned some kind of riot or something like that,
right.
right?
And see, and I don't lean towards any ideas that the Democrats staged this or anything. Nobody, there were no pallets of bricks found. There were no, you know,
Right.
there were none of
It
these
didn't look like
things.
a normal Antifa operation.
But I
Right?
will say this, AOC calling Republicans out and decrying the all the trauma and the horrible things that were done during the Capitol riot and everything. This is the same woman, bear in mind, that supported the Black Lives Matter protests and riots,
Yeah.
and even gave them, told them, supposedly told them ways to keep from being caught and this, to
Right.
get out of these situations. And it's like, I now you're just talking out both sides of your face because
No, no, no. I can. This is a perfectly reasonable, Robert.
don't you
Right?
dare,
See,
John, don't you dare
see
come to
the
her defense.
no,
All
no,
right,
no.
fine,
It's
go ahead.
very, very simple. right? To the BLM writers, they were on her side, so it was okay. Whereas the Trump one was not. They were not on her side, so it was not okay. And she
Oh.
was going to be killed. Like she was moments, seconds away from death.
I can't believe she is the most important person in Washington.
Of course she is.
I
Yeah,
mean, I'm actually surprised that she thinks that this protest riot was about Trump. Surely it had to be about her,
and Chilaga makes a good point. AOC's exact quote was "make them uncomfortable."
right?
It's true. I think
Hmm.
she was pretty uncomfortable, wasn't
Hmm.
she?
But that's not called inciting, is it?
No, 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 not
No.
at all. What Maxine Waters said was not inciting either. Because whenever you see them in public, you make a crowd, you make a scene,
Hmm.
form a crowd, let them know that they're not welcome here.
Right.
That's certainly not inciting.
It's I don't know it it's fucking insane is what it is. Major Victory says seems like a lot of people on the right are mostly in it for themselves. There you go, they're in it for themselves. So
Yeah, no, it's true.
so when legislation like that comes in, it's like how much can somebody make you feel like you don't have much of a choice with the right pressure. uh, but Helen says, I think Ed was saying all of these insurrection is giving me an erection. In Fight Club, we don't talk
Heading
about
into
Fight Club or how it
erections.
is operated. Okay.
Well, I get that, but like if you're gonna, I mean, how do you get more members into Fight Club without breaking that rule? Like you can't get more unless you break that rule. That's kind of the point of the rule
Right.
is to make you break it.
The media, Helton says the media is run by a bunch of sellouts who hate that we have the same amount of rights and liberties as they do. They are garbage humans. This is not the first time that Sheila the dummy has introduced similar legislation. She is a horrible person, and the people who keep sending her back to Congress are un-American and anti-liberty. Yeah, see that's a
Interesting.
good point. You got to think about the people you're putting in there, and
Yeah.
I don't know, but nobody you can't communicate with your representatives anymore in a meaningful way because it's not
Right.
like they're sitting around listening anymore because social media has destroyed that because of course they get so deluged with stupidity on their social media that
Hmm.
to ferret out anything where it's actually a constituent saying, hey, we don't fucking like this, don't do this, or you're not going to get elected next time. you know but
Yeah.
not enough of those threats going around, and that's a threat that needs to be wielded heavily when it comes to politicians in Washington, your congress people, your representatives, whatever. You need to be swinging that fucking threat around. You will
Hmm.
We will do what we have to make sure you are not reelected, because the only thing these people are after is reelection.
Yeah.
uh, Victory says someone posted a video on Instagram of Antifa attempting to disguise themselves as Trump supporters. Remember to bring heat resistant gloves. Um, I wonder who. I would like to see that. That would be kind of. If you can find that, throw it in our Discord. I'll have that. I'll pull that
Yeah.
up one day.
If you're not
Uh,
in there already, if you're not already in there, go join our Discord. Links in the description. Right past that like button that you guys should hit. That
yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, you're rude and discourteous,
very
and
rude.
you should probably, be
In fact, if
removed
you
from
don't
the
hit
Capitol
like,
grounds.
if you don't hit like, you were one of the people who almost killed AOC.
Hmm.
Right.
That is in not hitting the like button is are the actions of abusers.
It's
It's
actually like
what
an
that is.
assassination attempt on my life if you don't hit the like button. So make sure you do.
But
Seriously.
I will say this, to AOC, I say I think you over exaggerate things. I really do. I
Yeah.
think you blow this shit out of proportion. I mean, if you're that traumatically stressed by something like what happened at the White House grounds, that it just almost incapacitates you, because that's what it sounds like. You were just like absolutely just completely lost to fear. You're in the wrong job. You are in the wrong job.
Right.
I
You're supposed
mean,
to be a leader,
you
not
should not be in a front facing
yeah.
public eye. That's not for you. Now, if as far as the sexual assault, please come on our show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what it means to be a survivor and what it means to be a victim, because survivors don't play the victim role anymore. Just FYI. That's not
No.
what we do. Yeah, you're going to have things that trigger. You're going to have things that make you, rethink and reimagine those things that happen. I think about shit that happened to me every fucking day, but I don't let it victimize me, and I don't use it as a fucking crutch for everything that happens in my life. So, that's the part that bothers me the most about this is when people want to parade something like this out for clicks, for likes, for views, for trending. Fuck you. No, no. That I'm not impressed with. You can go just sit in a fucking corner and cry if that's what it's going to be. You need to get past your shit. Grow a fucking pair of balls and do something about it. You know, it's fucking pisses me off. But anyway, on that happy note, Major Victory says, I think her biological clock is ticking. Let Ed know, because he wants to cinch up that marriage as soon as he can. Uh,
Right.
AOC has a child and gets red pilled for her kid's future.
Yeah. That's good. I like it.
But anyway, John, let's get the hell out of here. Thanks for
Yes, let's.
it's I can't. John, they're gonna I'm just the gun bill. This
I
is got
know.
we've got to make a little bit of noise. We got to get people making noise about this, because it's going to slip by. It's going to slip into play. It's just without anybody even seeing it coming. But anyway, all right, let's get the hell out of here. John, please tell these lovely people that may or may not know where they can find us, because we've got new places and new things, and it's all there in the
Yes.
description.
All of the links, as Robert said, are in the description. We've got our, I guess you can find us on DLive or Trovo. Not something I normally push, but I'm going to push it now. Trovo, especially, we're going to push. So make sure you check that out over there. It's fun. We got some people over there already. Yeah, go join us on Trovo. Then we've got our Twitter at the GenGapP. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us there. We also have Discord, uh, where yeah, that Discord is a lot of fun. My whole spiel is thrown off now because I started with Trovo and DLive. Yeah, Discord. Fun people over there. A lot of fun conversation that happens. And just in case YouTube doesn't send a notification, you'll get it there almost for sure. 30 minutes before we go live. So even if it's just for that, join the Discord server. I understand we have a Discord alternative now. I still haven't been over there. I need to do that.
Hello.
Yeah, I know. I suck. I don't. Is a link in the description for that too?
Yeah. There's a link to
Okay. Okay.
Gilded
Yeah.
down there.
Gilded. That's what it's called. Go
And
join that too. I will be over there shortly. um. Let's see. About the stream. No, it's all good. Stream's fine. Yeah. So we got Discord, and then uh, not Streamlabs, Subscribe Star. God, I'm just totally completely thrown off
right,
already.
you
Already
got to
completely
rewrite
thrown
your
off.
spiel.
I know. That's the thing. I haven't written any of it down. It's all memorized.
Was
Subscribe
it?
Star. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we got Subscribe Star. So if you like us, you want to give us some money, you can absolutely do that. We got 3 different tiers where you get different perks. So make sure you go and check those out and decide which one works best for you. And then we got freedomscoop.com, which may or may not be functioning still. Because I know don't mind our dust. We're under construction over there, under reconstruction. So Just go and check to see if freedomscoop.com is up, and if it is, then yeah, check out all our stuff over there and other Freedom Scoop creators like Jay Edgar and Stephen Ignoramus. We got Wyatt from the Breakdown with Birkenhoff. We got Already Conservative and Freckle and Brick Show. So make sure you check them out. And I'm not going to bother with the shirts
Nope.
at the moment because we're not going to sell them anyway.
No merch going right now. But I will say this about the Gilded server, the chat server there. That is umbrella. That is the Freedom Scoop umbrella that the invite is to. So not only do you find our channel there, but it is all the other channels from Freedom Scoop are being conglomerated there. So that Gilded chat is an overarching one-stop shop for Freedom Scoop. To catch, and soon we'll have all of our creators on there, hopefully, and you'll be able to just go right in there and play around with it like you do on Discord, but still be in one bubble with smaller bubbles. It's exciting when it's bubbles, John. It does something for me. I don't know what. But anyway, we're going to get the hell out of here. Thank you very much, folks, for stopping by and listening to us talk about this stuff. We are going to come back on Friday for our regular episode. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. And then following that, we're here on Monday nights for Filling the Gap, a little bit of humor to start your week off, hopefully, to give you a smile before you dredge through the rest of your scary weeks. But that's at 9:30 p.m. on Monday nights, and then we'll be here again a week from now on Wednesday for another rousing episode of Shooting the Shit at 9:30 p.m. as well. All of those times are the Eastern time zone, the one and only true time zone. All the rest are just posers, John. They're posers.
Right.
But again, thank you all for being here. We will see you again on Friday night. Have yourselves a good one. Stay safe out there. And don't forget to register your guns. It's very important. We're going to get the hell out of here. Peace out, everybody.
See you guys.
The war will begin.